12 o'clock, and it's time for a nooner, y'all. Thank you for joining us. While people are trickling in, I figure I'd get going so we can get to cooking. And yes, welcome. This is Sac State Unique's 44th virtual showcase. Yeah, we've been kicking it virtual for a year now, and we've had some good shows. We've had some not so good shows, but we're going to keep going. Thank you for all the volunteers and staff that make all of these happen. And thank you to all of, thank you to the guest that we have today. More on her soon. But for more info on future shows, what's next for Unique, as well as how to get involved, check us out at sacstateunique.com or follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Sac State Unique. So our guest, since 2011, has been publishing content of recipes, pictures, food facts, or even some of her, let's say, adventures in the kitchen. She's learned a lot from her family as well as herself in her explorations of food and all things delicious. Again, she posts recipes through her website blog, as well as showcasing it on Instagram, and a recent development of her own boutique shop. You're going to see adult beverages, you're going to see meals, desserts, all things that are very simple, all things that are moderately or very healthy, or, excuse me, my cat is going crazy right now, as well as everything that's well within a reasonable budget. Diva di Cucina, everyone. Rebecca has her own website, divadicucina.com. She's also on Instagram at Diva di Cucina. No spaces, no dashes, no nothing, just Diva di Cucina. And as I said before, her own boutique kitchen shop is at etsy.com. There's a direct link on her blog and Instagram that'll forward you straight there. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the goddess of the kitchen, or Diva di Cucina. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Noah. Thanks for joining me today in my kitchen.
Such a pleasure.
We have an exciting afternoon planned. I know Mother's Day is coming up in a couple of weeks, and one of my favorite things as a mother is to get to enjoy brunch. So I thought we would go with a little brunch theme. So if any of you out there have a mother you would love to cook breakfast for, maybe this will give you some ideas, or spouses. If you want to bring your wife breakfast in bed, I'm sure that's always welcome too. So if you are cooking along with me today, one of the first things I want you to do is go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Today we are cooking some homemade Pop-Tarts and a Southwest Frittata. And one of the reasons I'm going with both of those is that they cook at the exact same temperature. So it makes it easy when you're working with one oven to be able to have multiple things going on. So my oven's already going, getting preheated. So if you're cooking along with me, like I said, go ahead and turn your oven 400 degrees. So first we're going to start off with the Pop-Tarts, just so everyone kind of knows what to expect. We're going to get our Pop-Tarts going, get them in the oven. And then while they're in the oven, we're going to be working on our Southwest Frittata. And then while the frittata's cooking, we're going to be making frosting for the Pop-Tarts. So I grew up eating Pop-Tarts. I thought that they were one of the greatest things because you could just take your Pop-Tart in the morning, throw it in the toaster, and you could be out your door on the way to school. I always thought they were delicious. And then one day my son asked if he could have some Pop-Tarts. Like, sure, I'm gonna, relive my childhood and have one with you. So we toasted our Pop-Tarts, and I just have to tell you, they are not what I remembered them to be. I think our standards as children change as we grow. So we ended up developing our own homemade Pop-Tart recipe, just using a couple staple ingredients from the grocery store. So anyway, let's get to it. So I have a cutting board here and a rolling pin, some basics hopefully everyone has in the home. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to just kind of season our cutting board with some flour. If I wipe my eyes, I apologize. My allergies are kind of going nuts these days, so they water nonstop. So I'm just going to spread our flour out on the cutting board, and this just keeps our pie dough from sticking while we are rolling it out nice and thin. All right, so get that ready. Oh, this is gonna be fun with the allergy component today. Okay, so with my Pop-Tarts, I work with just some refrigerated pie crust. Get these in the refrigerated section, sometimes the frozen section. I have the Pillsbury brand. So in the box, there are actually 2 rolled up pie crusts. And one of them is going to serve as the Pop-Tart bottoms, and the next roll is going to serve as the Pop-Tart tops. One of the things, I guess I'll get to the rectangle later. So we're going to go ahead and just unroll this. Mine has been sitting out at room temperature for a little bit here. It just makes it a lot more pliable, easy to roll out. If you take it straight out of the refrigerator, it's going to be really a lot harder to roll. So we don't need to roll it too thin. We're just going to want to make it a little bit thinner here. Otherwise, we're going to have like a really doughy Pop-Tart. We just want to make it a nice thin crust. Oh, I'm sorry guys about the allergies here. Of course, they started as soon as we hop on the video. Okay, so rolling out the pie crust. You can see we're just kind of spreading it out a little bit. You can start to see the grain of the wood through it. That's when you know you're getting it nice, thin. It'll cook a lot quicker that way. And then what I do, because you have the top and the bottom of the Pop-Tarts, you want them to be close to the same size. Otherwise, they're not going to match up. So what I do is I cut out a little rectangle out of cardstock or paper, cardboard, and that just gives you a template to cut out your rectangles with, so that way you have them all the same size. You are more than welcome to kind of wing it. I just found that for me helps make them a lot easier to work with. So what I do is just kind of
Smart. So smart.
Oh, and my rectangle today is about 3.5 by 5.5 inches. That's pretty close to a standard Pop-Tart size. And doing it that size will give you about 6 to 8 Pop-Tarts. I did this yesterday and ended up with 7 of them. If you have a larger group, you can absolutely go smaller. So just know a 3.5 by 5.5 will give you about 6 to 8 of them. So I just kind of go ahead and cut this one edge. And again, I just kind of use it as a guide. So I kind of end up with the same shape here. Ooh. And then the next one, I know I can go too wide. And they don't have to be perfect. We're going to crimp all the edges with a fork at the end. This is just to kind of give us some general shapes that are kind of going to match up, be close to the same size. And we've talked before about like my background's in graphic design. And I think being a designer, you kind of naturally are a perfectionist. So it would absolutely drive me crazy if I had all these different size Pop-Tarts. They just definitely look prettier when you have them all the same size. So we're going to do this. So we're going to do this set twice. So again, right now, like I said, we're cutting out the bottoms. And the next, let's see, can we get 2 more on this one? I think we'll just go with 1 more here. And then what I do is I actually take all the scraps and then make that 7th one. I just kind of roll them up, roll them out again. And I have a little piece of paper set off to the side here, lined with wax paper, that I'm just going to kind of stack them on so I can kind of get through making them all. Pie crust, because it's got that nice flour layer on the bottom, they aren't really sticky. So you can kind of just throw them on top of each other. So you can see I can take these scraps here, make another ball. We just need to be able to get 1 more out of this, and then that gives us our 7 Pop-Tarts. And today I'm making strawberry. That was always my favorite, was the strawberry with the frosting and sprinkles. So today that is what we are going to be making. You absolutely use any flavor you want when you're making these. One of the things my son and I have been wanting to try, which we haven't yet, is trying to make some Nutella Pop-Tarts. You remember, like there was like the s'mores ones, so we thought it would be super yummy to have some Nutella ones. So you can see, there we go. That's our 7th Pop-Tart, and look at this, is all the scraps we have here. So we're just going to kind of dough those up, put them off to the side. All right, so those are our Pop-Tart bottoms. And kind of spread this flour around again. And if your pie dough is really tacky, when you're putting it down to roll it out, you may want to also consider putting a little bit of flour on the top of it. So like if I were to roll this and this sticks to my rolling pin, again, you can just throw a little flour down. That is what's going to keep it from sticking to your rolling pin. So now we're making the second batch so that we have a total of 14 here. And these will serve the other part of the Pop-Tart. So if you're tuning in today, I want to know, like, if you ate Pop-Tarts as a kid, what was your favorite flavor of Pop-Tart? Like I said, mine was strawberry with frosting. And I think as I got older to high school, I started, this sounds kind of odd, but I really started liking the blueberry ones. And I would actually put cream cheese on top. So it was like kind of like a blueberry cheesecake. So again, you can kind of just start to see that wood grain through the pie dough. So it's nice and thin, not too thick. Like I said, otherwise it's going to be like eating a giant wad of dough. So no, are people commenting with like their favorite Pop-Tart flavors?
Yeah, we got some brown sugar. Aaron liked brown sugar. Carly liked cinnamon and sugar. Xenia was with you on the strawberry, as well as Cassie. She likes strawberry frosted too. And then her kids love the brown sugar ones.
Yes.
I myself, I got made fun of a lot of by the other uniquers because actually strawberry was my least favorite flavor.
Oh.
I like the crust. I like the crust, but the middle was not good to me. But I like s'mores. I like s'mores and brown sugar. Those were really good.
I remember, was it you? Is the other unique volunteer, Alyssa? Is that her name?
Oh, Elise, maybe?
Okay.
Or maybe Alicia? I don't.
Yeah, so I was watching your little interview on Instagram from like the recap from last week that you guys
Yes.
did.
Yeah, that was Elise.
You guys were saying that you guys are team toaster strudel.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say that, but I figured
Okay, so
leave that out.
one of the biggest things, the difference between Pop-Tarts and toaster strudels is obviously toaster strudels you get to frost yourself. I get that. That's fun as a kid.
Mhm.
But so if you are a fan of toaster strudels, you can pretty much follow this recipe the same, but use puff pastry instead of pie crust. Because strudel, like the kind of the airy light dough from like a toaster strudel, is really similar to puff pastry. So if you are a puff pastry fan, you can pretty much follow the same thing. Puff pastry comes 2 sheets per package, and you can take that puff pastry and roll it out, cut out rectangles, use the filling of your choice, and then just drizzle the frosting. And so this is nearly kind of the same process you would do if you wanted to make toaster strudel. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that was a totally different approach. It's really, really similar. So
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, you got something for everyone, don't you?
certainly don't want anyone to feel excluded. Like I love toaster strudels too. I mean, definitely love those, love the frosting. And the thing with
Get the
homemade
mood.
is that you get to frost them all yourself anyway. So
Right.
if it was
Exactly.
the self-frosting component that you like with the toaster strudels, we gotcha.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, I can get down with that. Okay, so this is our last rectangle here. So like I said, we have a total of 14 now, all relatively close to the same size. And I just do some cleanup here, get this out of the way. Flour off my hands. Okay, so I'm going to bring over, here we have a parchment paper lined cookie sheet. You can use a regular cookie sheet if you want with spray, but when you work with the parchment paper, again, not wax paper, parchment paper, wax paper will melt. It allows your stuff not to cook. So it's really fantastic. Everything will lift up really easy. So we are going to take 7 of these. Put them down. So again, I just have these. I was setting them aside on a paper or just a plate lined with wax paper over there, so that way they were out of the way.
Right.
We're going to put our bottoms down. Okay, so there we go. You can see they're not necessarily perfect, but it's all right. That's what's fun about them. They're rustic. They got a homemade charm to them. So today,
Exactly.
strawberry jam. You can see this is actually a seedless jam. So for the most part, I think Pop-Tarts you won't find seeds. So you can get a seedless jam in any flavor you want. If you like blackberry jam, this is great with blackberries. But we're going with the strawberry today. Like I said, that was my favorite. So I take a nice spoonful. I'd say about probably it's 1.5 to 2 tablespoons each. You don't want to overload them because then they're going to be difficult to close, and also your strawberry jam is just going to leak out the side. They'll bust at the seams.
Ah, yes.
So I'm just putting, like I said, about 1.5 tablespoons in each of these. Sticky jam. And if your jam, if you keep it in the refrigerator, this is a brand new jar, so it's pretty easy to work with. But if it's in the refrigerator and cold, it can be really, really difficult to work with. So what I do is just put a little bit in a bowl, microwave it for like 15 seconds, just softening it up is really going to help you be able to kind of spread it around. So we don't need this to be perfect because as soon as these get in the oven and that heat hits, the jam is just going to kind of spread. So I try and keep it away from the edges. So I just have a nice clean edge from the seal. You kind of see I'm just spreading it around. It's okay if it's a little thicker in some areas, but just keeping those edges nice and clean. And if you did not like frosted Pop-Tarts, you can totally eat these as they are with just the pie dough and strawberry jam. If you don't like super sweet stuff, I personally love the frosting and sprinkles, and that's kind of what gives it its fun charm from our childhood. So that one I probably got a little bit heavy on. Bounce it over here. Yeah, and so these Pop-Tarts, I think it's a total of like 5 household ingredients. So, you know, you just have the pie crust, the jam, and then for the frosting, we're just going to use vanilla, powdered sugar, and sprinkles. So super, super simple. You can absolutely make these from scratch using a homemade pie crust, but then they no longer have that quick and easy component if you're taking that route. So with me, I know we talked about it. I'm a working mom. I love making things homemade from scratch. Time doesn't always allow though. So being able to work with, like, you know, ingredients that are kind of pre-made, you still have that homemade component. But you know, pie crust is just something that it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing wrong with working with the grocery store, pie crust from the grocery store. So you can see I'm just placing the tops on there, and I'm just kind of pushing the edges around to kind of seal it. We're also going to use a fork to crimp it, but this just really helps to keep the jam from just kind of oozing out the sides there. Kind of.
Yeah, no jamming on the sides, only in the center.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask too. This looked very, very, like you said, very simple, very easy. I had a question about like the distance from the edge. You kind of want, I don't know, maybe like a fingernail's length between the jelly and the edge, you
About a
think?
1/2 inch gap kind of around there. Okay, so we have
Okay, cool.
up with our fingers. Now to give them the super cute little crinkle edge. This is super quick and easy. I just kind of go around with a fork. And can you guys see that okay on the camera? Closer so you can kind of see what it's
Yeah.
like once we get it. You don't have to spend a ton of time on this. Oh, if your pie dough is soft, sometimes it'll come off with the fork. But this just really kind of allows it to seal it in, keeps the jam from coming out the side, keeps it inside. So I'll kind of hold it up so you can kind of see a little closer there. So we just have
Oh yeah.
crimped edges, and that really helps to hold it all in. So I'm just going to kind of quickly go around the outside.
And this isn't something we have to powder our forks, right?
No, I mean, if your dough's super sticky, I don't know that the flour will stick to the fork. And if you put too much flour on the pie dough, that flour is not going to bake off when you're baking it. So it's going to have a very, it'll have like a floured surface on it and kind of make it taste a little bit
Oh,
gummy when you're eating it. We don't want to
yeah.
mimic the taste of a
Always
homemade.
got you. Flour responsibly.
Yes, exactly. It's like you want enough, just enough that it's not sticking. And again, this is probably the result of my dough kind of sitting a little bit too long. I pulled it out early because I was really worried about it being too cold.
Mm.
I'm just
Ooh,
gonna,
we got a nice question from Norma. Uh,
oh,
have you had any ideas? We were talking about earlier how you were, exploring flavors with Nutella and stuff. Norma was presenting. Have you ever tried any savory flavors?
no, but I bet that that would be amazing. Yeah, I could totally see like I know we work with the store-bought pie dough. We make like homemade chicken pot pies. So I could totally see doing
Ooh,
chicken pot pies. That would be really good.
chicken pot Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, chicken pot pies. You always see every once in a while these funny flavors they come out with, like it's kind of I guess like April Fool's jokes or something. But if you search like odd Pop Tart flavors, you'll see they'll have like cake flavored one, and there someone like takes the time to like design a cover for it. And so I always see like really odd flavored Pop Tarts. So they're not real, but they're comical seeing the odd flavors people.
Like flavors that people like make up and they just like create the packaging for it.
Yeah, but so not
Oh, that's hilarious.
but this pie crust, like I said, is great with chicken pot pie. I could totally see doing that. I guess one of my only concerns is that with the Pop Tarts like this, you can't get too much filling in them. You saw I was only doing about a table and a half or tablespoon and a half of the jam. So I'm not sure like how much like you'll be able to get of like the meat and vegetables and stuff like that. What else you could do that would be like really savory? Ooh, I bet like brie and apples would be really, really good. Totally
Ooh.
a couple of sliced apples.
Or like some kind of really good like cheese with like some nuts and maybe some cranberries.
Yeah, some like cranberry sauce and some like pecans. Oh, now you're talking though. I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have these all crimped together at the edges now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of gently poke the top 3 times, just kind of piercing the top layer. You don't want to go all the way through. And what this does is allows the steam to escape when they're baking so that your crust doesn't crack. So all of that jam in there is going to kind of swell up, and if you don't pierce it, then it can like blow out the sides. So this gives somewhere for all the pressure to poke out or escape. So you can kind of see there, they have
Yeah.
trim, some holes. So our Pop Tarts are ready to go in the oven. So let's see, that was, I guess it took probably about 15 minutes to put those together. And we are going to put them in the oven at 400 degrees. And these are just going to go in for 12 minutes. So if someone wants to holler at me in 12 minutes, that would be helpful. I'm trying to watch the clock too.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Usually I say, Alexa, set a timer for 12 minutes. There we go. We got her on it. Don't worry, I don't need helpers.
Ooh, with the assistant.
It's the best thing about Alexa. Okay, so now while those,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is get our Southwest Frittata going. So last time you might remember when I was doing cookie demos, I had to have my back to the camera the whole time. So I went out and got this little hot skillet so that you guys can watch everything cook on camera. So
Ooh,
we fancy.
we fancy, yes. You got this fancy boutique and now you're just, next level living in 2030.
Okay, so with the frittatas, I use a cast iron skillet. And one of the reasons I love a cast iron skillet is because you can cook everything right in it, and then you literally put it into the oven, like the whole pan with everything. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, what you can do is that you can cook everything, like all your ingredients for your frittata in here, transfer them to like a Pyrex baking dish, add your egg mixture that we're gonna make, and then put that in the oven. But
Oh.
that's so, anyways, you can totally make this recipe without the cast iron skillet, but it's going to save you a dish, and you're actually going to cut down on the cook time because the eggs are going to kind of cook in here while they're going. So I'm just waiting for it to warm up. So yeah, if you don't have a cast iron skillet, they're a great thing to have. And so normally I would cook the sausage right here, but I was worried that you guys would just sit here for 8 minutes watching sausage brown, and that's not very exciting. So I did go ahead and start my sausage already, just to kind of give it a head start on cooking, and so you guys didn't have to watch hot sausage cook for 8 minutes. So while that olive oil, so we're just waiting for it to warm up. And then we're gonna go in our veggies. So today we're making, like I said, a Southwestern frittata, and it has sausage, bell peppers, jack cheese, and then we're gonna make an egg mixture that's gonna have eggs, heavy whipping cream, and the cheese in there, and some salt and pepper. I have fallen in love with frittatas because you can basically put anything you want in a frittata. So they're great if you have leftover veggies from dinner the night before. The next day you can make like a veggie frittata. If you have leftover steak from the night before, the next morning you can make a steak frittata. I mean, you basically, all you need is 2 to 3 cups worth of ingredients. So whether it's veggies, meat, I mean, you can do meat and potatoes. That's what you need, is basically just a base of any kind of combination you want. And then I make a mixture that is 8 cups eggs, half a cup of heavy whipping cream, and 1 cup of any cheese you want. And with those kind of 3 staples, you can turn any ingredients into a frittata. So that's why I absolutely love frittatas, because there's no limitations on what you do. I mean, you could do zucchini, you could do bell peppers, you could do artichokes, really kind of anything you have leftovers for, you can turn them into breakfast. All right, so our olive oil, you think it's heating up? Yep, red light's on. I will say these electric skillets heat up a little bit slower than my stove. So here I have 1 pound of cooked breakfast sausage. Again, I cooked this morning, but if you were cooking this on your own, you would essentially cook it in your skillet with a little bit of olive oil for about 8 minutes, just kind of breaking it up as you go. If you like turkey sausage, I know that they do sell, I think it's like Jenny-O has a pre-cooked sausage that you can use. Definitely cuts down on the cooking time and the splatter of the grease. But so basically you just want a pound of, if you're gonna use protein, you can absolutely have like cooked bacon, like put chopped bacon in here, really anything you kind of wanted. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for this to kind of heat up until that starts sizzling. Okay, well, we're waiting for that because, like I said, I think it's a little slower than the gas stove top. I know, Noah, you mentioned my my kitchen boutique. So I just wanted to let everyone know that if you, and just you kind of know the background, in October, I had launched my own line of kitchen products. So my background's in graphic design. I love food. I love being in the kitchen. So I launched my own Etsy shop, where I sell coffee mugs, wine glasses, towels would have little witty sayings on them, wine glasses, or I said wine glasses, like oven mitts, magnet sets, a little bit of everything. So if you have any Mother's Day shopping to do, the next few weekends, I will have some pop-up boutiques. I'm gonna be part of some vendor events. So this coming Saturday, I'm going to be at 450 Blue Ravine Road. I'm doing a vendor market with Bright Beginnings Preschool. So it's gonna be out in the parking lot. We're actually gonna have a couple food trucks out there. So if you wanna come out and go shopping, there's gonna be a lot of different people there selling some cool goods. You can get lunch. And then on May 1st, I'm going to be at the Junk in the Junction. It's a kind of, again, a multi-vendor market at the, it's in Cameron Park at the Picket Fence Collective. Sorry, it's a mouthful there. And they're actually going to have food vendors as well and some live music. So if you want to come say hi and meet up with me in person, I do have those events coming up as well as some others. So I will post all of those details, like you can see on my Instagram. I kind of will post calendars, save the dates, but I have a lot of fun events coming up. So I always love when people come in and say hi and they're like, "Look, I saw your cooking demo." So if you want something fun to do, that's going on the next 2 weekends, all outdoor market. Okay, so we'll pretend this sausage has been cooking for 8 minutes. It's now nicely browned, cooked, simmering here. We've got some olive oil. What we're gonna do next is we are going to add, planking around here. We have half of a chopped yellow onion. Oops, trying to get into the camera there. Okay, so we're gonna add that to the skillet. All right, we just want to cook that up.
Real quick, Rebecca, I was gonna give them on the chat the address and time for this Saturday. It's 450 Blue Irving Road.
Blue
Right?
Ravine.
Correct?
Yeah, 450 Blue Ravine Road.
And that's gonna be at what?
9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like I said,
Nice.
it's fresh out
Yeah,
there.
good to catch it.
Get that?
I was gonna say, yeah, make sure everyone come and catch her and tell her how well she did on today's little cooking demo.
I will not have the frittata or Pop-Tart.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to just kind of or saute those onions there. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to kind of push it off to the side here while those cook. All right, and then I'm going to get another mixing bowl here. And with this one, this is what we're going to kind of whisk all of our eggs in. So I already have mine pre-cracked just to help expedite things here. So we have 8 cracked whole eggs. These are like extra large eggs here. So there's 8 eggs going in. And again, any frittata, this is just kind of a solid base, like egg mixture you can use with any frittata ingredient. So there's 8 eggs. I have half a cup of heavy whipping cream. You could absolutely use milk, but this is going to give it a really rich, kind of nice, fluffy consistency. So 8 eggs, half a cup of heavy whipping cream. Okay. We're just going to kind of whisk that together. Oh, this is so much easier than having my back to everyone. I got everything right here. Okay, those are cooking. All right, and then I'm going to throw in some pinches of salt. Season it with a little pepper. If you like a really garlicky flavor, you can always throw in like garlic salt, onion powder, any of that kind of stuff. Those are also really nice additions here.
As a quick side note, let's see. Heather was asking, is there any special way that you clean your cast iron pan? If you could have a sec.
So the trick is to let it cool off completely when you're done cooking with it. And then I just wash it with kind of the abrasive side of a sponge. And then my trick is rinse it off. And the second you're done rinsing it off is to dry it off. So the downside with cast iron is that it can rust really quick. I know we've taken mine and put it upside down on a drying rack, and just the moisture inside within like a few hours, you'll start to see rust, which the great thing about a cast iron skillet is that it's so forgiving. It's really easy to clean it up afterwards. And then after I dry it all off, is I just put a little bit of olive oil or vegetable oil on like a paper towel and wipe it down. So a well-seasoned cast iron skillet is key. But yeah, you don't want to soak it in water. You don't want to let it sit there moist. It's definitely, you need to dry it by hand. And I've seen people that like take cast iron skillets that are completely rusted over, and they just take a little steel wool, polish it up, oil it, and it looks good as new. All right, we got our onions.
Very good advice, thank you.
Okay, so our eggs are ready to go. I just want those onions to cook down a little bit more. And then with this one, I'm using a pepper jack cheese, just because I like a little bit of a spice that pepper jack brings in. If you're not a fan of heat, I mean, pepper jack cheese isn't too spicy, but you can absolutely use like regular jack cheese. You can use cheddar. Again, that's what's great about a frittata, is that it's so universal. You can really throw anything in the pan as long as you have like the right proportions for the egg mixture. Oh, it's cooking up beautifully. My house smelled so good this morning when I was cooking that sausage too.
Right. I love sausage, so good.
Yeah, I love sausage. Yeah, like I said, you could totally take bacon and cook like chopped bacon in here. If you take bacon, I would probably drain off a little bit of the grease, just because if you left it in the pan, you're going to end up with like a really greasy frittata. So I would just probably distribute some of that, but keep some of the oil in there, because when you're baking the frittata in the cast iron skillet, the oil is what's going to help you be able to get out of there.
Sorry.
Okay, that looks good. And like I said, if you were doing, if you didn't have a cast iron skillet, what I would do is just transfer this to a baking dish. And that'll help you out. So then with mine, I'm doing, I have a whole sliced red bell pepper here. You can absolutely chop it up. I just love the way the rings look in the final presentation. So I just am going to, Alexa, stop. There we go, there's our timer. Perfect timing. So just gonna kind of stir those in. I'm kind of gentle with these, just trying to get into the bottom of the pan so that way they keep their shape, but you can absolutely like chop it up. They could be slices. I really love the shape of the bell pepper. Kind of looks like little flowers in there. And we just want those to cook for a minute. We don't want to overcook them. We want to keep that nice fresh bell pepper flavor. I'm gonna take the Pop-Tarts out of the oven.
Ooh, here they come.
I'm going at 400. Well, those sit. So with the Pop-Tarts, you want them to sit for about 3 to 5 minutes on the cooking sheet, because otherwise they could just completely fall apart. The pie crust, you're kind of basically allowing it to set. Okay, well, the bell peppers are cooking. I'm going to pour in. So again, this is 1 cup shredded pepper jack cheese. I've pre-shredded that, and I'm just going to put that in the egg mixture there. All right. All right, and I'm just going to kind of stir that in. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but the egg mixture is this really nice, rich egg mixture with that heavy cream in there. I've been doing a lot of like keto meals, and so one of the reasons I absolutely love the frittata is that it's completely keto friendly. If you're gluten intolerant, you know, it's kind of the biggest difference between a quiche and a frittata is that a quiche will have like the crust on it and the frittata doesn't. So if you have someone who's gluten intolerant, you know, or doing keto, frittata is really great meal for any of those kind of dietary restrictions. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just kind of spreading all of my ingredients around so that way, when it's baked, all the pieces have kind of same amount of ingredients there. So, whoop, there you go. So you can see now we've got, I'll bring this back into the center here. There you go. Okay.
You're a fan of jamu with the red bell pepper.
Thank you. Likes the red bell pepper, huh? You can absolutely use green too.
Yes, he does.
Customize your frittata with whatever you like, or if you're cooking for mom, whatever mom likes. Okay, so you can see I have all of the sausage there. It's a nice thin layer, pretty even. I have the bell peppers on top that look pretty because it's all about presentation with cooking here. And I'm going to take this egg mixture and I'm just going to kind of pour it evenly around the pan. Kind of spread it out. You see the nice layer of the cheese on top there. Right. And the thing with the frittata, so if you were to put this into just a regular baking dish and then throw it in the oven, it's gonna need probably 25, 35 minutes to cook because you have so much raw egg. But by keeping it in the cast iron skillet, what we're doing now is that we're cooking it on the stove top. So I'm gonna leave it here for about 3 to 5 minutes. You're gonna see the eggs are gonna kind of start to cook around the edge. So basically we're kind of like starting the cooking process of the eggs right in the skillet. And like I said, that really cuts down on the amount of time you need to put it in the oven.
Very smart.
Yeah. Okay.
Work smarter, not harder.
Always.
Always.
Okay, I'm just gonna let that cook. Are there any questions coming up while we wait for that to go?
I think people are just marveling at the presentation that we have right here. Like, these bell peppers are looking delicious. Cassie thinks so too.
All right, Cassie. Yeah, so like I said, this is a really great dish. Like I said, you can take any ingredients. If you're using like leftover vegetables that have been cooked the night before, all you really have to do is kind of warm them up, put the egg mixture over the top. So there's not a lot of like cooking or prep work involved in making something like this. So When we take this out, like when this spinach is cooking here for a couple of minutes and we put it in the oven, it really only needs to be in the oven for, I think, like just like the Pop-Tarts, kind of like 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, this is great. And I don't know if anyone's got any plans for Mother's Day, but this sounds like a really good thing to make for your madre.
Yeah. Tell you, there's nothing that beats like a home cooked breakfast on Mother's Day. I think that's like one of my favorite things my boys do for me. And my
Speaking
boys,
from experience, huh? You've heard it here, folks.
yeah. Moms love breakfast. I absolutely love going out to breakfast, but yeah, this is something that you'll really impress mom. I mean, she might be like, you're making me Pop-Tarts for breakfast, but you tell her, but mom, I made them from scratch. It's, you know, they have like a really fun kind of rustic charm to them. So I don't know if you can see, but the eggs are just kind of starting to simmer in the middle. I can kind of see them starting to set. Normally I'm cooking on a gas stove, and this one's a little electric skillet, so it's a little bit slower. Typically when I'm working on gas, it's probably like 3 to 5 minutes that I kind of just let it sit here. And like I said, it's just starting that cooking process on the bottom layer. But our oven is still at 400 degrees from our Pop-Tarts. So as soon as this is kind of cooked a little bit here, we're just gonna put it in there and let it finish off in the oven. Pop-Tarts, so I love them straight out of the oven. It's a really good hot egg dish. But one thing that's also great about frittatas, did I say Pop-Tarts? One thing that's great about frittatas is that they're really good hot, fresh out of the oven, but they're also really good cold. So if you want to do your cooking before Mother's Day, you can absolutely have, you know, do this ahead of time and have it ready to go. But frittatas, they're great, like room temperature, hot, cold, super universal. So let's see where we're at there. All right, starting to set in the middle.
You were also talking about something to celebrate or that has to do with Earth Day that's actually coming up very soon.
Yeah, so tomorrow is Earth Day. So when Noah and I were talking before we went live with all of you, one of the new products I've actually launched in my kitchen shop is a set of reusable produce bags. So I actually have them sitting here on the counter. I'll show you.
Ooh.
So
Hell.
the grocery store or the farmer's market, you end up in a year probably use 100 plus plastic bags. I mean, I know I do. We have a lot of produce in our house. So one of the things I actually had bought like 10 plus years ago when they had first come out was reusable produce bags. And everywhere I went, the farmer's market, the grocery store, people were like, these are the best. And so I wanted to improve upon them. So I actually worked with a developer to develop my own reusable produce bags. So I think you can see in front of the camera there. So these are a reusable mesh produce bag. They are 100% organic cotton. I got to work with the developer in picking the material we use, what size we wanted. So I really kind of did a lot of research on what would make a really good bag. So I now actually sell these in my shop. You might be able to see they have a really cute, sorry for the arm, DVD Cucina tag on them. You get a set of 5 of them, but these are awesome. You can take them into the grocery store with you, use them instead of plastic bags for your produce. I can push this out of the way. You can see here, this one is massive. Ooh, can't really see because of the skillet, but it holds a ton of oranges. It opens up big. It's 100% organic cotton. You can throw them in your washing machine with all of your clothes. And one of the things too is that produce puts off a gas that causes the produce to age and ferment. And when you have plastic bags, that gas can't escape. So by using the mesh produce bag, the gas escapes. And so your produce actually lasts fresher longer on the counter and the fridge. So anyways, that is my plug for my shop. We can all do our part to reduce our carbon footprint. I'm gonna throw our frittata in the oven here because it is looking good. I'll try and, let me see. I'll lift it up so you guys can kind of see how the egg has started to kind of cook in the middle there. Maybe, whoop, there we go. So we're just gonna finish that off in the oven now. Alexa, set a timer for 12 minutes. So handy, I tell you. But anyways, we can all do our part, reduce our carbon footprint. So I had a lot of fun kind of developing those produce bags, and I sell them in my Etsy shop. I'll have them at the pop-ups, and you get a set of 5. So if you want to help the environment, which we all should, those are really great things. Like I said, your produce will last longer than if you use like a plastic bag. So again, totally sustainable, eco-friendly. So I was super proud of that product when they came in and had a lot of fun working with them. So, okay, so our Pop-Tarts are cooling on the oven. I'm actually going to transfer them to a cooling rack. So I'm going to bring that over here. Oh, actually, before I forget. Okay, so before I forget, I recommend you line your counter with some wax paper. So we are going to transfer the Pop-Tarts to a cooling rack, but we're going to frost them on that cooling rack. And if you frost them and your frosting drips over, it's going to go all over on your counter. So my tip for the frosting is cover your counter with some wax paper, parchment paper, paper towels, just something so that your frosting has somewhere to drip. Okay, so yesterday I actually went ahead and pre-baked some Pop-Tarts just in case the ours were still too hot, that these ones would have some time to cool. So I'm going to get our fresh baked Pop-Tarts, my oven mitt. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here, I'll try and scoot these over so you can see. So you can see on our cooking sheet here, those are our fresh baked Pop-Tarts. So you can see, even though I made an effort to steal them, there's still a little bit of strawberry jam losing out there, which is totally okay. Just want to make sure we still have some of them. And I'm just going to transfer these to the cooling rack. You can see they're actually pretty rigid here.
Those look so good.
I mean, like that's the thing, I would eat these just like this. They don't even need frosting. It's basically like a fresh strawberry pie.
For real.
Okay, you're gonna be able to fit. So now we got, because I had the 7 yesterday and 7 today, we're looking at 14 homemade Pop-Tarts. So who's coming over for brunch in a little bit here?
I'll bring the mimosas.
I love mimosas. Okay, so we have our Pop-Tarts ready to go. So we want them to cool here for a little bit, because if we try and frost them while they're super hot, our frosting is just gonna melt everywhere. So we'll go ahead and get our frosting going. So I have, let's see, I had a small bowl ready to go for frosting. Where did I put it? Let me see.
Runaway bowl.
All right, I'll get another one here. Okay, so for the frosting, I'll try and scoop this back so you can kind of see here. All right, so for our frosting, super easy. This is nothing fancy. I have 1 cup of confectioner's powdered sugar. Okay. I have a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Yummy.
And then we have, I just have a little bit of water here. So with the water, I typically start with like 1 to 2 tablespoons and then add more as I need. If you want to have fun with your Pop-Tarts, you can absolutely throw a little bit of food coloring in here. I know, I think some of the strawberry ones used to have like pink frosting, or maybe it was cherry. Cherry had the pink frosting. So you can totally go with the colors. We're just going to go with the traditional white. So I just start with about a tablespoon of water.
What kind of consistency are we looking for? You know, not too thick, but like on the thicker side, right?
You want to be able to kind of drip and spread around. So it's definitely not like a cupcake frosting or anything like that. I'll kind of show you when we get it to a good consistency here. Again, I just start with a little bit and add to it as you go. If you do put in too much water, just add more powdered sugar. It's just kind of a balancing act. Okay, so I'll try and hold up to the camera here. So you can see it kind of will drip off of my, I don't know, is that camera freezing up, or can you see that? It's dripping off of my whisk there, but all the powdered sugar clumps are gone. Like I said, the ones we just baked, they're probably going to be too hot, so we're going to frost the ones I did yesterday. There's too much heat there, that frosting is just going to melt and ooze off. So I'm just going to basically take, oh, the other thing too is that I am using just some rainbow colored sprinkles today. I'll hold that camera, there you go. You can use any kind of sprinkles you want. I mean, that's the thing, like you could totally have fun with these, like St. Patrick's Day, they have like the little shamrock sprinkles. Easter, you get like little eggs. You can totally have fun with these and make them seasonal. Valentine's Day, but we're just going with the rainbow one. I will say the frosting is gonna set really quick. So what I typically will do is like frost 2 of them and then do sprinkles, and then frost 2 more and then do sprinkles. If you try and sprinkle it after the frosting has set, they're just gonna kind of roll off. So you really want your frosting to be tacky so that way it's really good.
That's technique right there.
Yeah. All right, get my sprinkles ready. I just gonna pour some in the cap here. Yep, those are the ones from yesterday. So I just take, let's see, is that coming in the camera? I'll hold some up afterwards. So I just kind of take about a tablespoon of frosting, and I personally, like, I don't try and make it perfect. I want them to kind of have a fun shape to them. We just kind of let the frosting drip off. You can absolutely, if you don't like super sweet stuff, you could do more of a drizzle than like a heavy frosting on it. There we go. A little bit more here. Whoop. That one's gonna be a heavy frosting. Okay, I'm gonna throw some sprinkles on there. So you can see one of the reasons I did the wax paper underneath is that some of this frosting is kind of dripping off the edges of it. And if you didn't have a cooling rack, you can totally do them like on a cookie sheet or something, but just you don't really want them to sit in the pool of frosting. So it's nice having them kind of elevated so that frosting has somewhere, the excess frosting has somewhere to go. I think it's kind of fun seeing the different shapes that the frosting takes form.
Yeah, that bottom right corner is looking like my kind of piece.
Yeah, so a powdered sugar frosting will set really quick, so then it's nice. You can have them kind of stack them up in like a little like pastry stand for a nice display.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Our frittata is smelling so good, you guys. It should be kind of probably getting close. And with the frittata, when it's cooking, you just want to make sure it's kind of like puffed up in the center. You don't want it to look like it's still kind of runny eggs. Just that's kind of key. The edges will pop up first or fluff up, and then the middle is kind of like the last thing to. Kind of, oh yeah, that one's still the hot one.
Oh, we got a really good question from Cindy. So say if you made your Pop-Tarts and then say tomorrow you have a couple left, but you kind of want them warmed up. Is there a specific way to heat them up that's best, or can you pop them into the toaster like?
I would pop them in the toaster. I don't know what Pop-Tarts uses for their frosting ingredients, but I would be concerned the frosting would kind of melt. So I would probably putting it back in the oven if you have like a toaster oven. You want to basically kind of toast them flat, or even the microwave probably for a couple of seconds. But I was shocked how good they were cool the next day. So my son and I, when we made them, we had them like for several days. And it was really still really, really good just at room temperature. But yeah, toaster's gonna be your best bet. That's gonna keep your pie crust from getting, kind of like soggy or soft. It's gonna keep it crisp. So I would say this oven, toaster oven, something like that's gonna be your best bet. So I'm gonna check our frittata real quick. Oh, our frittata is looking fantastic.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see, where'd my spatula go there? That one kind of got some strawberry jam on it, but that's okay. I'm gonna hold these up to the camera so you can see.
Oh my goodness.
Have a homemade Pop-Tart. The lighting may not be the best, but you guys, they are so pretty with the little white frosting and the sprinkles. We'll let that set and then I'll snap one open. You can see inside.
Very nice.
Okay, so our frittata is just finishing up in there. I thought we'd have some fun setting a little plate with our frittata, Pop-Tarts, all that kind of good stuff. We have a few minutes to kill. Does anyone have any questions on anything today? General questions?
You've been answering a lot of them very well. Let's see. Boop. People are loving how fast this is too. They're just like, wow.
I know it came together pretty quick.
Yeah, so I mean, any last minute what is it, Mother's Day plans, you still have time to make some Pop-Tarts and a frittata for your mother.
All right, I'm gonna kind of clear some space so I can push these out of the way and we can plate our breakfast up here. You can see the frittata.
So not only do you have wonderful recipes with Diva, you also have healthy recipes that don't break the bank. And if that wasn't enough, stay tuned because you will learn how to present your food in the best way possible. All thanks to Diva.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Okay. All right. So.
You're a triple threat.
All right. Check that frittata out. I think we are done there. So I'm going to grab, where did I set my hot plate in? All right, we're gonna get some.
You got a lot of runaway kitchen stuff.
I know, I swear I had everything laid out, but the problem is it's all over the place. So all right.
It's the gremlins. It's the gremlins.
Yeah, the menehune.
Oh no.
Okay, so here we have our finished frittata. Alexa, stop. So you can see the eggs really puffed up in here. I'll hold it up. There you go. It's all like all that cheese on the top can turn like this nice golden brown. And then what I did, so you can absolutely use like for the Southwest flavor, if you like cilantro is really good. I know not everyone is a cilantro fan, so I actually went with some chopped parsley. So I have some chopped green parsley here. Now it's all about that garnish, adding a little color. There we go, some fresh greens there.
Yum.
Yeah, okay, that is looking beautiful. So typically I would want it to set for a couple of minutes, like let our eggs set and everything. But Mom's hungry, we gotta serve her brunch, so. We got a plate.
Get to it.
Let's get a Pop-Tart on our plate here. Woo. Some fresh frosting. Okay, so one of my favorite things that my husband makes me for brunch every year for Mother's Day is a parfait. So I made a little one on the side.
Oh, yay.
So, it's all about a balanced diet. So here we have, this is just a mason jar and it's layered with some vanilla yogurt, some blueberries, more vanilla yogurt, strawberry, blues, granola. So, that's one of my favorites on Mother's Day. So that's another little easy side dish you can have ready to go. Okay, we need a knife. Sorry, I'm zipping in and out of the camera here. Okay, so frittata, again, great thing about the cast iron skillet, you can cut right in the skillet here. I just cut this into like little pie wedges. And normally, like I said, you'd want this to set a little bit, but we're on a time crunch here. Just gonna cut a little pie wedge out of there. There we go. All right. There we have it, folks. Brunch. We have a parfait, a homemade Pop-Tart, some frittata there with some fresh bell peppers, some nice green parsley on top. Mom will be happy to get this, trust me. So
I'm loving it on this side.
Under an hour. I mean, you add in all the chatting time at the beginning. We were able to make homemade Pop-Tarts. We were able to make a frittata. Super quick and easy. Like I said, if you have your ingredients ready to go, then you can cut even more time off. So, all right.
This is the way to do it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can we see that plate again? Just with like that amazing, just like.
Yeah. So again, the frittata kind of lost some of its shape there. See.
That is okay.
Frittata. Let's see, we got spoon for mom. Let's see, and I'm going to show you the inside of one of those Pop-Tarts so you can kind of see what we're looking at inside here. So if we just snap it in half, oh my goodness. You
Ooh,
see that side frosting
like
on
the
the top?
real thing.
Real homemade Pop-Tarts. Good stuff, guys and gals.
I'm so excited.
There you go.
I'm so excited. Well, thank you so much. This has been life changing. I mean, it was. You said it's puff dough to make toaster strudels.
Oh yeah, like so puff pastry. So
Puff
again, that comes
pastry. Yes.
there's 2 feet. They come in a square, so it's really easy to kind of roll the puff pastry out and put whatever fillings you want in there. And again, same thing, just kind of make sure you poke the top, seam the edges, and then you could just drizzle the frosting on using pretty much the exact same frosting recipe. So it's just going to be a little bit sweet and it's going to set, so it's not super tacky.
Yeah. No, I love it so much. Yeah, for those of you that are, missed your chance to make it alongside with Rebecca, you can always check out our website. You can always check out our Instagram as well as her Instagram. We have a flyer, showing everything you need and nothing you don't. And so I I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm wishing that I had time today to make Pop Tarts, but I'm gonna have to wait for another day to do this one. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the lovely people?
No, I mean, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. Like I said, this is my 3rd time doing this with unique programs. I feel like each time I kind of learn something new. But it's so much fun just feeling like you guys are right here in my kitchen, having some company to talk to. During quarantine, we've been so, isolated from people. So it's really good to feel like I can connect with my followers and some friends and coworkers, some demos. So fun that tuned in today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you learned something new. I have my email on my cooking blog, and you can always DM me on Instagram if you're ever looking for some ideas. I am always happy to make recommendations. If you're like, hey, I have this friend who really likes jalapenos and cheese, I can send you a bunch of jalapeno and cheese recipes. So know that I'm here. I love interacting and talking with people, and you can always feel free to reach out to me.
Yes, and feel free to check out her blog at divadcucina.com in the chat right now. Instagram, Pinterest, correct? Are you on YouTube as well?
I do not have a YouTube channel. That's a
Oh,
whole other level of effort. So
hey, you know what? I'm not mad. We're cool with what we got at Diva di Cucina. That is no spaces. Um, like I said, I am putting it on the chat right now. Make sure I spell it right and engage. So, and
can I add, if you want to make this recipe, I should have added like the Pop-Tart recipe is already on my blog. So if you were having a hard time following along or want to revisit that, the Pop-Tart recipe is on there. Southwest Frittata, this is a brand new one. I haven't shared with anyone yet. So that actually will go up tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you can find both of these recipes on my blog if you need to revisit that. So just know that those are up and available for you.
love it. Thank you. And also, do not forget to check out her boutique shop. A lot of trendy, functional, and just generally pretty stuff that you can have for your mother, for yourself, for all you foodies out there. Yeah, it's a great time. And if you want to say hi to her in person, you can always catch her at, I believe it was 540 Blue Ravine Road, correct?
450 Blue Ravine Road in
Oh my
Folsom.
gosh.
This Saturday from 9 to 3. And then I'll be at the Picket Fence Collective in Cameron Park on May 1st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then I'll actually be in downtown Folsom on May 8th from 10 to 3. I will be on Sutter Street at a grand opening of a couple of amazing gals open up their little boutique for their kids line and clothes and other women's clothing line. So that's going to be on May 8th in downtown Folsom at their grand opening. So go check it out. Come visit me, say hi. And again, I'll post all those details on my Instagram. for you to see.
Oh, yay. Very busy lady. So, once again, Rebecca, thank you so much for what you did here and what you do beyond. I can't wait for the next one. What we're gonna find delicious next. But for now, we're gonna enjoy our Pop Tarts and frittata. All right. So, for all of you, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining us. I am Noah Flores. This is Rebecca Voorhees with Diva di Cucina. And that's it. Go and study or do something else. Read a book.
Ciao.
Have a good Wednesday, everyone.